What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom, you already know, so let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out to the Disciples of Doom, like always. Anyways, you guys are here for one reason and one reason only. You guys want to see how I got these numbers. So currently I am at, what is that, 104.5% damage bonus, and I am at 96% damage to elites. So we're going to get into it. I'll break it all down, show you guys how I got these numbers, and the whole spiel. So buckle up and let's do this. Right before I do, like always, if you guys do enjoy this content, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, hit me up in that comment section below. I am not shy to respond to my comments. You make it pretty, and I'll respond back with something pretty. You throw me something ugly, you might not like what you get in return. Anyways, let's get into this. So, M60 primary, Eagle Bearer secondary, and the double barrel sawed-off shotty. Going through the weapons first, my M60 is sitting at 40.7k base damage, has 550 RPMs with that Allegro, and I have 150 rounds in my magazine. Go to the talents. Unhinged, of course. The only way you're going to get this damage like this on an LMG is with Unhinged. Allegro for the firing rate, and in rhythm. While equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh all of your active skill cooldowns. Really nice. Let's get into the mods. Starting off with the optic, I have a hollow sight with 8% damage to elites. Going to the large pouch, I am using the gunner specialization. Therefore, I have the 50 round magazine. Going down to the laser pointer, I chose the crit chance on the laser pointer, and you'll see later in the stats that I've got a lot of crit chance on this build as well. And finally, the muzzle brake, another 5% damage to elites. So just by going off of this, you can see that with the 8 on the hollow sight and the 5 on the muzzle brake, I'm already giving you 13% damage to elites. Going to the secondary, Eagle Bearer, 25.9k base. The only reason why I'm using this is for the protected fire. While holstered, you gain 10% bonus armor while firing your current weapon. So I have a 150 round magazine in my M60, hitting at 40.7k, and every time I squeeze that trigger, I get an extra 10% armor from my Eagle Bearer. Going to the sidearm, I am using the double barrel sawed-off. Yes, it is hitting at 226k. So if I'm in the dark zone and I'm using this build, and you MFers with your shotgun meta want to run up on me, I can pull out my sidearm and one hit you right back. My double barrel sawed-off has Ranger and distance, and in rhythm. So there you go. You've got your M60, you've got your Eagle Bearer for that armor while firing, and then you have that double barrel sawed-off for those sticky situations. So before I actually get into the gear items, let's do the brief summary of the build. To get all of that damage and damage to elites, I obviously had to focus solely into damage and damage to elites. There are certain spots where I focus into crit chance, and you will see why whenever I go into the stat sheet. So with that being said, this is a 499 build gear score. I have 10 focused into red, 4 focused into blue, and 3 focused into yellow. Now, going off of just the brand sets, you can see I have Wyvern Wear, mask, holster, and knee pads. I have a Murakami glove, 511 backpack, and a Petrov chest piece. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start getting into the gear items. So with the 3 Wyvern Wear, I get all 3 brand set bonuses. This gives me the 7% crit hit damage, this gives me the drone skill power that I don't really use too much, and it also gives me the 10% crit hit chance. So those are the brand set bonuses on this build for the Wyvern Wear brand set. Going into the attributes, I have 43% damage to elites and 28% hazard protection. I do have hard hitting as a talent for this mask, so just on the mask itself, I have 53% damage to elites. So a lot of you that are saying I only have 40% damage to elites, I only have this damage to elites, if you find the right mask, just like this one, then no matter what, you'll at least have 50% damage to elites. And that's just on one piece. So if you ever think that, you could use just a little damage to elites, just put on the mask. You'll be good to go. But alright, so there is your Wyvern Wear mask. Let's go to the backpack. 511. It's a gear score 500. Now the 511 brand set bonus I get off of this build is the 5% protection from elites. Obviously this is a PvE monster, so we really do like that protection from elites. Now this backpack has 2 reds and a yellow, has crit chance at 4% and weapon damage at 10%. I have the skill power at 311, and the 2 talents on this backpack are hard hitting and hardened for the damage to elites and the more armor. The 1 mod slot I have on this backpack is a offensive system mod slot, and for this one I chose the weapon damage with the LMG damage, so I get an extra 4.5% damage from that 1 mod. Going down to the gloves, Murakami Industries gloves. It is 499 gear score, and it is maxed out as I can re-roll it. Now the 1 brand set bonus I get from Murakami in this build is the 8% health, and the attributes I have are health at 5638 and LMG damage at 11%. I am well aware that I need to have that extra 1%. So yes, this damage can get harder. So, you guys think this is crazy. Just wait until I get the pieces I actually need. And finally on the gloves, devastating, giving you 5% more weapon damage. Going to the Petrov chest piece. 500 on the gear score. It is not maxed out on the recalibration. The Petrov brand set bonus that I get from this build is the 10% LMG damage. The attributes I have on this chest piece: skill power at 321, weapon damage at 14.5, armor at 11,171, and health at 7947. Now the talent I have on this chest piece, again, hard hitting for that damage to elites. The hard hitting on these pieces is vital to get the numbers that I have. Now this chest piece does have a utility system mod slot. I chose this mod in particular just because of the 5% reload speed. So if you do have to use a utility system mod, at least try to find one with reload speed, because that would help you produce more damage in the end. Going down to the Wyvern Wear holster, 500 on the gear score, and we have already talked about the brand set bonuses. The 2 that you really need to know about is the crit hit damage and the crit hit chance that I get from the Wyvern Wear. Now the attribute on the holster, 16% crit hit chance, and of course I have devastating for that 5% weapon damage. Now this Wyvern Wear holster has 1 mod slot being an offensive mod slot. I chose again weapon damage and LMG damage, and I also got a 1% damage to health. But on this 1 mod, I get another 5.5% damage. So keep an eye out on those mods, because the mods are how I'm getting my numbers. And finally, the Wyvern Wear knee pads. I'm not going to tell you about the brand set bonuses because I have already said it twice. But the attribute I have on these knee pads, 9% crit hit chance, and the talent hard hitting, more damage to elites. Now, the Wyvern Wear knee pads come with a offensive mod slot again, so I chose weapon damage and LMG damage, giving me another 4% damage from that one mod. Now, you could switch it over and get, another set of knee pads with a blue as an attribute, but you're going to lose that offensive mod slot, and you're going to lose your crit hit chance. Now, the two skills that I use and the grenade I use, these are all basically for invaded missions in the raid. This is like a PvE monster, so I try to use this in everything I do PvE, whether it be Dark Zone, whether it be invaded missions, whether it be the raid. It doesn't really matter. But the two skills and the grenade I use are the Revive Hive, the Healing Chem Launcher, and the Concussion Grenade. So if you do use this in the raid, you can use this on generators for the Razorback part of the raid. Just make sure you have that Concussion Grenade equipped. So there are the skills. Grenade. You could use the Riot Foam Grenade if you really wanted to, but with the radius being so small and it doesn't do any damage, it's really kind of useless. So we're going to finish up with the stats tab. Real quick overview on my gear talents. 1, 2, 3, 4 hard hitting, 2 devastating, and 1 hardened. Going to the weapon talents, not so snazzy. So let's get into the weapon tab. So this weapon tab and the offensive tab are for this M60 that my character is holding. So I am sitting at 40,714 weapon damage. I have 44% crit hit chance with 32 crit hit damage and 65 headshot damage. Now, my reload time is at 5.5, but that's with the 5% reload speed bonus. Going down to the offensive tab, starting off with the all weapon damage bonus, I am sitting at 58.5%, and the LMG damage bonus, I am at 46%. So when you add those two together, you get a 104.5% damage bonus. So we have done what I wanted to. We did get over that 100. We're at 104.5. Really cool. Now the damage to elites, if you scroll down a little bit, damage to elites are at 96%. So with the 96% and the 104.5 damage bonus, I am over 200% total damage bonus to any yellow bars or named enemies. Insane amount of damage. That is over twice the amount of damage to yellow bars and named enemies. And of course I have that 1% health damage. Going to the defensive, obviously this thing's squishy because I'm hitting harder than a Mack truck. Alright, so yes, I am at 214 armor, which, for the record, I know a lot of you out there with your glass cannons can't even get above 200k. So at least I have that going for me. I mean, give me that. The 43,000 health, obviously I'd like that to be higher, but I tried to make this thing hit as hard as possible. Going down to the hazard protection, all the resistances, 28% across the board, and a whole bunch of different skill power numbers, which they will all change come title update 5. Dark Zone perks, no one really cares about that, so there you go, guys. Let's do a quick numbers check again. 58.5, 46 gives me 104.5% damage bonus with that 96 damage to elites. So I'm at 210.5 damage to elites and named enemies. Insane. But alright, you guys. Kamikazevondoom, if you did enjoy this, let me know. Shoot that thumbs up and hit me up in the comment section below. But besides that, shout out to the Disciples of Doom, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Kamikazevondoom out.